All right, Brandon, we're probably good to go if you want to go ahead and kick us off.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I'm going to share my screen here really quick. Can everyone see it?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I'll start us out. Looking forward to next month. I know sadly it's the last lab, but we are going to talk about how we're going to return the technology. So you all have locks for those big black cases, but I know some of you need new ones or they've been broke or whatever you need. Just let us know as soon as possible so we can send you new locks. And then in this next shipment for the August lab, we'll also give you return labels for your cases. So after the lab on that Saturday, put the return labels on those cases, and Natalie and I are going to schedule a FedEx pickup that Monday, August 19th, following the lab. So before you leave the store, please emphasize to the employees that there will be a FedEx pickup, and those two big black cases are what they need to take. Maybe even ask who the manager is going to be on duty that Monday and leave them a note, because our fear is that Verizon will say, no, we don't have a pickup, and then the boxes won't get shipped back. So just please really trust them that there is going to be a pickup Monday, and even ask if you can leave those black cases out by the retail lab space, because they really should be in the way there, and that way it'll remind the employees up until Monday. So if you have any questions on that, just let us know, and let us know if you need locks as soon as possible, please. And then Natalie, if you want to continue on.
Yes. Okay, so AI stuff for next lab, for the August lab, the last one. It'll be super great. New lab, new material, so it should be fun. Headphones will be the shipment, and like Brandon said, the return labels and new locks if you need them. Hopefully on this lab for the coding game design, you can let us know if you have like 4 functioning locks, 2 functioning locks, you need a whole set, you need 2 for each of your cases, whatever. Just go ahead and shoot one of us a text or email us with the receipts, maybe. Everything for that would be great. Could we do pickups from school? You could, but those are really heavy cases. So you would have to like drag them to your school. If you want to do that, we can definitely work with you. I think it actually might make it easier, but we don't want to have you guys have to lug those like 50, 60-pound cases around. The laptop one is going to be the issue with the weight. The instructor case will come back to us, so it'll be all of the cases. I can't remember if you guys have 2 or 3, but everything will come back after the August 17th lab, with all the technology, the chargers, and that stuff. Everything else, again, is yours to take. So any leftover VR headsets, the 3D printer, the other printers, like the Canon selfie printer, I couldn't think of the name. That one, everything like that is yours. We need the laptops, phones, and tablets back with the chargers and all of that kind of technology back. So bring your instructor case to the store for the last lab. Yes. Instructor case will come back. And then again, just like the past few months, we'll send the shipment of headphones and FedEx labels and any of the locks to kind of the same place where we have been previously. So if anything changes, let us know. And then for this lab, 12 student guides are the shipment. So each student, this one is runs the best when the student has the instructions themselves and can follow through, and you're there to help guide and answer any questions. But the step-by-step is really the big key here for this coding and game design, as we'll see in just a few minutes with Joey demoing the beginning of the lab. And you'll use the tablets and then the Tinker app, which should be on all the tablets. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for a second here and pull up the instructor guide, because, all right, let's see. Can you guys see the instructor guide? Okay, perfect. So Coding and Game Design Facilitator Guide. I'm not going to take the time to read that overview. The equipment, just went over, but the setup for this lab, it's not much, but it can be a little tricky, but I just want to run through that right now. So you guys have that. This will be your best friend. Print this out, have this with you, and practice this beforehand. So in preparation, before lab day, this is the best to do this before so you guys feel comfortable. You will start with your desktop actually and logging into tinker.com/school. So I can go ahead and pull that up actually. Let me share my whole screen. So for those of you who have done this lab, first of all, I'll stop myself. Can you see my whole screen? Okay. Yeah. So tinker.com/school. For those of you who've done the lab before, you should have the class code and everything already done. But if you're new, I think I set these up about a year ago when I first started for all the new 18 stores, but I'm not completely confident in that. So you just want to double check this. You'll sign in. This is the process. You're going to hit teacher. Number one step, hit teacher. It says it in the facilitator guide. So we're going to hit teacher, and then it's, this is also huge. So we're not going to fill out these. We're going to hit sign in with Google, Gmail. So we're going to click that. And then I just created a practice account for this, vzlab.practice, super creative. Okay, class code. So this is gonna get us access to the actual building app that we need in Tinker just for this Verizon class. So we'll go to, on the instructor guide, we see right there the class code. I'm just gonna copy it, paste it, fantastic, enter. These names are awesome that they come up with. Okay, so we see Verizon. I'm gonna click on this, Verizon starter. Okay, click. So right now, again, you're just on your desktop or a browser. You can do it from your tablet. So we load into this, and the first step, you're just gonna hit save. Even though it says saved, we're gonna hit it again to make sure it sends it to the account. Perfect. So now, after you do this, you can practice on this. I would suggest, and I know Joey will touch on this too, highly suggest running through this lab once or twice and feeling really comfortable with the process and the first few steps to really help students. Should they have a question, even though they do have the guides in front of them that detail step-by-step what to do. But just makes it easier if you guys are super comfortable with the lab. So after you do this on the desktop, if you have all the tablets at your house, that's great. You can make sure they're all logged in ahead of time. But at this point, if all the tablets are at the store, totally cool too. When you get there to the store on Saturday morning, you're gonna get each tablet turned on. You're gonna get to the Tinker account, and I'm pretty sure Tinker's downloaded on everything, but if you need to, download it from the Google Play Store. And you'll sign in using the sign in with Google again from the app, and you'll use whatever account you used previously when you either the vzlab.indy, I always use that as an example, and the password. But if for some reason that doesn't work with the verification issues, Google, sometimes I try to log into those accounts and get you guys set up. But the verification issues, because they want like 3 to 4 authentications, mess it up. So that's why I just want you guys to double check. And if for some reason you can't get into that account, your location account, don't worry, just create vzlab something or whatever email, and you can just use it for this account. It's not a big deal. All the tablets will be logged into the same account. Okay, so then when they use their student guides, it'll have them save it, their version is their initials, so no one gets mixed up. And then after each session, you can just delete them, and you just save the original one, and that's what they duplicate. But again, don't worry, this is all written down too. So with that being said, again, just in the morning when you get to the store, if you don't have the tablets to work on ahead of time, when you get to the store, you'll open the Tinker app and log in, sign in with Google. It won't work the other way. If you sign in with Google the first time, you have to use it the second time or it will not work. The account won't be found. And then you'll just have that open on all the tablets. Okay. I think that is good. I will switch it over. Brianna, did I miss anything you think? Or Aaron, for that matter, jump in. If not, we can switch it over to Joey.
No, I think you covered everything.
Cool. Okay. Let me do that. Figure out where the tablet is.
Can you hear me?
Now I can. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
My dog can bark.
They want to join too.
They do. How long would you say for folks that haven't logged in to this before process take?
5.
Like how much time should we give ourselves? 5 or 10 minutes to go through?
Do the desktop part first. Make that account, or make sure you can get into the account. If you've done this before, make sure you can log into that account and you see the Verizon starter game in there already. And if for some reason you cannot log into your vzlab.tempe@gmail or vzlab.atlanta@gmail, that's totally cool. Make an account and you'll just use it for the day for this. It's not a big deal. But just set up that part, and that's going to take 5 to 10 minutes there. And then practicing the lab, I'd say maybe an hour or so to practice and make yourself feel comfortable with it. If you've used Tinker before, great, you're going to fly. If you haven't, it might be an hour or so. But use the instructor guide and then switch to the student guide as if you're running through it as a student. That's really just the best way to practice. And that's what Joey's going to do here for the first few steps, is just show the beginning of how to use Tinker if you haven't yet, which we should become masters at after this. It'll be great. Cool. Okay. Did that answer that question? That was a long answer.
It answered my question.
Okay, perfect.
Let me ask you one other one while I have everybody's attention here.
Perfect.
Is there a risk of deleting the kids' projects at the end and accidentally deleting all of them? If that was the case, you would just go back in and re-sign in from Tinker.
Yes. Yeah. Cool. That's a good question. I didn't think of that, but yes, that would be something I would probably do on accident. So for some reason,
I was jumping ahead there, sorry.
No. If for some reason the starter code isn't there anymore, you can make a new account and re-access it. But what I'd also suggest is, Joey, you had saved one as like Mr. G or something. Excuse me, correct? So you could do that and use that as the one they copy and rename, or say like permanent, maybe, so you know, because you can rename these pretty easily and duplicate them. And the flip side of that is you can delete them pretty easily. So whatever you guys trick-wise have up your sleeves to make sure that it's always there is good.
Cool. Should I go?
Yep, you were on.
Cool.
All
Hi,
right.
everybody.
Yeah, I'll let you know when I see your screen too.
Sure.
Perfect.
Let's see. So, I assume everyone can still hear me. What I'm going to do is bounce over into the, I don't know if I can share this. I'll tell you what I'm doing is going over to the student guide here in a minute, the one that we all got in the mail. If you didn't, then it's in the Google Drive, so you can just pull it up. But I'm just going to go through there as if I was a student and kind of talk you guys through it as I'm going. Hopefully that should work. And I guess I'm looking at the teacher guide right now, and I'll, the normal stuff: introduce yourself, have the participants introduce themselves, show the video, and then it says demonstrate parts 1 and 2. So that's what we're going to do. if I remember how to do it. All right, Zoom.
So
Coming.
many steps.
It's coming. Got so many apps open. I'm going to mute this. Okay.
Perfect.
Hear me, I assume?
Yes, I can see the
Now
tab.
it'll text me if you can't. Okay, so I'm going to go to Tinker. And sorry, guys. Let's go back to the home screen. Okay, so this is what it looks like when I opened it up. The PLTW project is the one I saved when I downloaded all of this. So there's create a new project, the big plus sign. We're not going to have to worry about that. It's important that you're using the copy that we already have because there's a lot of code that's already written. If you've done any sort of, if you worked with Tinker, you're all set. You'll be super familiar with this. If you haven't, what we're doing is drag and drop block coding. The kids, it'll be very intuitive for them, even if they haven't done it before, especially with, you'll be able to share on your screen. If you don't have a way to share to your like smart TV or whatever you guys have at your store, you really do want to try to be able to do that so they can see what you have going on your iPad. It doesn't work the same. I mean, I don't even think there's a desktop version for this. There might be. But you want to be able to share your screen if you can. Okay, so I'm in, I launched Tinker. This is what we got. Step 2 is tap on projects to load my project screen. You should see an app called Starter Code. I've just renamed it to PLTW project. The hamburger menu is the guy in the top right corner. Can't really see that. I'm highlighting it now with my thumb. And we want to duplicate the project. Well, I'm going to, oh no, sorry, it's this one. So I'm on PLTW project. I made my own copy called Mr. G because I was worried that if I deleted it, I'd have to go all the way back and start again. So I made a backup for the main one, and I would suggest you guys do it too. The one time I went through this, no one actually did delete my copy or the original. At least I don't remember that happening. I'm worried that it might, since we're all logged into the same thing at your location. Okay. So I'm going to click on the PLTW project, and I'm just going to hit the 3 little dots to the right of publish. And I come up, and I'm going to hit duplicate. And there's my PLTW project copy. And I'm just going to that. Nope, back. And I want to rename that, so I hit the hamburgers again. And I'm going to delete, 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 delete. Change. Cool. So that'll be my working copy, and each of your students would do the same thing. It does mention somewhere in the teacher guide or the student guide, I don't remember, that you can do pair programming with this, which is cool, especially if you have kids that don't have any experience with this. Then you might want to pair them up. If you don't do any of the computer science launch or gateway stuff, pair programming it's just 2 students working together, where you have a driver, the person who's actually physically touching the tablet or the device, whatever it is, and then you have their navigator as kind of their helper. Maybe they're in charge of reading the code off the paper. Maybe they are just looking over their shoulder to ask questions or make sure nothing gets missed. It's kind of like the rally car racing. I don't know if that's even a thing anymore, but when I was little, I liked watching the Subarus drive through the mountains. It was the one guy reading the directions, like there's a turn coming up, so the driver would know to get ready for that. So that's your pair programming. That's an option, but you have enough equipment for each of the kids to have their own. In my experience, and maybe I'm jumping ahead, but it is just drag and drop. which I'm about to show you if you've never seen. But we do get into some functions and stuff here, and if the kids aren't following the directions, they can delete things or move things around and kind of get off track. Just check out your class as they're coming in. I can already think of some regulars of mine that I know will need a partner, and maybe that partner will be me. Okay, so I renamed my program JG. That was step 3 of part 1. That was step 4, was the renaming. So I'm going to go to part 2, collecting the bones. So I'm going to open my program. I just touched the JG one. And I've got my puppy dog down there. This is my stage view. This is the front of house, the dining room table. This is what you see, what all the code should do when you're ready to go for it. And I'm talking like you guys don't know about computer science, and maybe you do, and I apologize. I'm going to assume that not everybody does. All right. If I hit play right now, let's see if this works. My dog is already programmed to move around the screen depending on how I move the little gyroscope that's in the middle of this tablet. So I only had 10 seconds. You probably saw the timeout came on there. The cars are programmed to move already. There's some bones and some candy already. This is all pre-programmed. Okay. One thing you need to do when the kids see this, if they want to hit play right away, if they're holding it up and down and they hit play, the dog is going to drop off like a rocket straight off the screen, and they're not going to know where he went, and I can't even get him to come back. So just hit stop, and you'll have to restart it. That happened to every kid. Even after I said that, that's what happened. So it needs to be nice and level. You can tell about the gyroscope in there and how it reads the different axes. Maybe that's in the video too. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that it is. Okay. So we're on step 6. Hit the code stage button. So at the very top of my screen, you can see the words. Stage is highlighted. I'm going to hit code. This is my back of house. This is the kitchen. So this is where all the creation is going to happen. The front was just what we saw with it. My actors are all on top. You can see I've got the yellow car is highlighted right now. To the left of that is the parking lot. And then to the right of that is the red car, the bone, the candy. If you don't see a character, you just need to scroll through. So I put my finger up there and just kind of drag to the left until I saw my puppy dog. And you can add characters if you want to, or the kids can. Some of them will just kind of run with this, you know. So you can see, I'm going to click on the stage. And there's already some code on there. So on start, it resets the timer, resets the score. Looks like I only give myself 5 seconds for this, which is fine. You can change that. Tap on the dog bone actor to view the bones program. Currently, there's no code for the bone. You can see there's nothing here. I've got kind of a big screen in the top right showing me that there's nothing here. I'm not missing it, it's empty. When programming an interactive app, you need to think about what each thing is going to do. It gives some different examples in our student guide. So you can ask your students, what do you want to happen to the dog bone when the dog gets to it? Well, what should happen? The dog's going to pick it up or eat it or whatever. What we want to happen is for the bone to disappear to show that the dog got it. Okay. Going down to step 10, the condition you want to check for is whether the bone is touching the dog. Therefore, tap the sensing category and drag the touching select actor block to drop it inside when the true occurs block. Okay. So if you guys see on the left-hand side of your screen, I'm under common right now. There's a yellow star to the right that says common. And those are my most used blocks of code for this particular app. But below the yellow star, I've got lots of little light blue ones, and each of those does something else. I'll click on the little runner. These are motion. Looks is the little fake mustache. Sounds, the pen is drawing, and then the blue one is sensing. If I want to, we call this drag and drop because all I'm going to do is touch the code I want and drag it over. And I'm looking for touch. And this is great because the exact code I want is printed on our student guide. I'm looking for touch, not X, not Y. Oh, touching select actor. It was the top one. It makes sense. So I just clicked on it and I dragged it over with one finger. So I have touching select actor. Now, what do you need to do when the bone is picked up by the dog? Here are some ideas. You can add points to the score. You can program the bone to disappear. You can play a sound. The dog can bark. The kids can record their own barking dog sound. We need to add an event block that will run when the dog touches the bone. To do so, tap the control flow category and drag when true occurs block. Okay, so our control flow, it has a picture of it in the student guide. The kids will miss that. Just keep pointing out to them. So when true occurs, was the third one down, I'm going to drag it over, and I've got that. All right, so now I have two pieces of code. They're not connected. Step 11, click on the select actor box and select the dog. So all I did was, here I X'd it. On my blue code that's in my screen here, it says touching select actor is a different color. I'm going to click on that, and I have dog. Piece of cake. Step 12. And guys, I'm going like right through this for you. You definitely want to do it ahead of time yourself with whatever tablet you have at home, just so you have your own copy so you can see what the code should look like. I mean, you'd get along fine without it, but if you haven't done any of this dragging and dropping, it's something you should explore on your own. Add the actions you want to happen when the dog touches the bone. I'll tell you what, I'm going to jump over to step 14. If you guys can see that on the student guide, it has all the code we want. What we're going to have him do is play a sound. And the sound I want is a laser. And I can clip that right onto that other block. I don't know if you guys saw that. All I did was hold it down, and then I move it over to like a puzzle piece, and I let go. And again, I apologize if this is something everybody knows. If I didn't want this piece of code, I hold it down and the trash can came up on the left, I could just throw it away and get rid of it. But I'm going to get it back. The sound I want, I'm just going to hit select sound, add sound. I have choices here. I'm going to go with city life. The dog's going to bark. Oh, it says play a laser. I'll make it play a laser. Where is the laser? Add sound. It's probably in. Oops. I'm going with bark. And then I want my bone to disappear. And everything I'm doing right now is all about the bone. My bone is still highlighted in with a white background up at the top. So everything that I'm doing right now for coding all relates to the bone. So I'm going to hide the bone, which means I'm just going to have it disappear. And this is color coded too, so you can just look for the right color you need if it isn't obvious. There's my hide. It was a little ways down the looks category. So I'm going to pull hide out, just lock it into place there. And I want to change the score. Red. Change score by. It's probably up at the top. Oh, it's functions. I was in the wrong red one. There we go. So change. I'm going to change the score by 1. So now everything's in the right place except for the touching dog. That goes at the very top, back of my orange block, says when true occurs. Well, what is that true thing? For us, it's the dog touches the bone. So you can see when I get it over there, it sort of highlights the background, and it just kind of falls right in. Okay. If I hit play, My dog is moving around. Ooh, he got hit by a car, but nothing happened to him yet. Oh, he got to the bone and he barked at the last minute. Oops. Oh, crap. I hit stop share. I didn't say crap. Okay. And then you just go through the whole thing. The candy, part 3 is eating the candy. In this case, it does disappear, but you lose a point. I've got too many devices happening here. Part 4 is when he gets hit by a car. You can make the dog disappear. Super sad. He could bark again, or the car could honk, or whatever. You could lose a point. It could end the game early if he gets hit by a car. The big thing I noticed when I was doing this too is the kids would mess with the car code. Stop. So if this is already pre-programmed, you can see that it's just moving across the screen at a certain angle. So if they mess with that, it kind of screws up their program. You can add buildings. I think this is the right Mr. G. Let's see. No, it's not. Well, there's a building in the background there. Sure. I added a doghouse. You know, you can just kind of play with it, and they can each make it their own. In 50 minutes, if they've had done any coding before, they should be able to get through this if they're following the directions and kind of make it their own thing. If you have younger kids who haven't done drag and drop or the block coding and you're like teaching that, it'll slow you down a little bit. But you should be able to work around the table pretty well for this. If you have any volunteers, when they get there, assuming you have everything set up, I would have them play with one of the tablets, like create their own and go through the student guide and just get a feel for it. Because I'm willing to bet that your adults that are there to help have not done something like Tinker or Scratch or any of those drag and drops. But they should pick it up pretty quick if you give them a chance. I think that's it. Are there any questions? I don't know how to see questions. There it is.
The one
I didn't figure out how to show the score at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I had some kids do it, but my Mr. G one doesn't. But I have seen it done by 11-year-olds. Anyone else figured it out? It comes in, I think it's the last step. I don't know, Barbara.
I have not explored that option, but we can look into it to let you know. And if anyone else knows on here,
Anybody else?
please share. Share your wisdom. Okay, Kai, so you will log in and select teacher at the beginning on the desktop in the very first step on the facilitator guide, because that prompts you to put in the class code right away. So whatever account you use to sign in for
Yeah,
that,
everyone's logged in. The kids won't even know that.
they won't see teacher,
Correct me if
student,
I'm wrong
parent,
here, Natalie,
or
but
anything like that. The
you'll
only
go
time
through each tablet, and if it's not already on there, you'll just log in for each of them into Tinker. The kids won't be logging into Tinker.
Yep.
When they open Tinker, the code should already be on there, or the program that we're working with.
Correct.
So part 5, when you get to the doghouse, it says display the score. Display the value of a variable in a say block. Variables are found in the function category. So now my dogs are really. Hopefully that's the deer that's been eating my green peppers, and they're going to get it.
Maybe they think you're talking about them.
So our say block. That's motion. I just never got this far. Personally, I had kids do it. I've seen it. Wherever the say block is, it looks pretty straightforward. I just don't have it on my code. Anybody else?
Any other questions on anything? It can be on any of the return stuff for
I see
next
Natalie's
month.
mouth moving.
Oh, can you not hear me?
Hear you, Natalie.
Oh, okay. Yay. Yeah, any questions? We can open it up to really anything. It can be about next lab, return stuff, this lab. Whatever you've got, you can throw it at us. Thank you, Joey, so much for going through that. This will be recorded, is being recorded, and will be sent out tomorrow morning. So you have it. Again, everything is in the Google Drive, but I will send it in the email as well to put it all in one place. Make it easy for everyone. Again, practice. This can be tricky if if this is your first experience with Tinker. I guarantee you'll love it after you do it. But sometimes my thumbs don't work on screens or my fingers are too big and I delete things. So I would just suggest practicing. So, but yes, you guys will walk through the beginning, I believe. Let me get to exactly what it says. And then they will be put to work with the printout, the student guide, and you'll kind of walk around. But for the most part, they should be, self-sustaining, running through this and completing the rest of the student guide. But yeah, you'll want to help them out at the beginning with the first few steps, and then kind of set them loose to explore. Okay, any other questions?
Natalie, I want to jump into and just say to everyone, we'll also be sending a checklist of everything we'll need back just to make it easier on you guys. I know it's a lot of different things, so that way you'll know exactly what we need back from you and what you.
Oh, good call. Yes. We've yet to make that checklist, but yes, we will do that. Coming soon. Perfect. But yeah, again, Brianna had touched on it in the beginning. If you can let the manager know that next month it'll be a shipment, and if they have any feedback or requests for a different day, not Monday, August 17th, 18th, 19th, had to count. If that is not a good time for a pickup, say like the manager is not there for some reason that day and they want it on Tuesday, totally cool with us. We can absolutely do that. What equipment does the AI lab use? They will use the tablet, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Brianna? Yes. Tablet and we'll have headphones. Yeah.
For next month.
Good call. I forgot about that. So AI is a little bit different, and there's like 3 or 4 mini sections, which are cool because they're going to be hopping around, seeing different components of AI, different uses for the technology. And there's one part that does use Tinker. So this is a great start for that. It'll be a breeze next month, promise. And then there's one that has music and it gets pretty loud. So we're just going to send headphones, and every student will get to leave with headphones, which will be nice for the last lab. Okay. I think that is good. Don't forget to show the video. Don't forget the student surveys. We love those. Maybe just have 1 or 2 phones out, or 3, and have them pass it around. Or if you're super techie and you would like to put the survey on the tablets, that's great too. That email is still in all of the location email accounts that says new survey links. You can just open it once the Gmail is connected to the tablets. Any takeaways for the students this month? No. No takeaways for the students this month. Sad. Do we know time of shipment to clarify for them to pick up? We don't, but we can let you know when we schedule it. We can only schedule it like 20 days in advance or something, so I can't even do it for, because I was going to send it now, and we were going to have you guys ship everything back, and then things got confusing, and you can't schedule too far ahead of time, or anyways, we will let you know. We'll do like the afternoon maybe, and FedEx will just come to the store and say, hey, we were supposed to pick something up, and then hopefully they're like, yes, take it. A very simplified version of what should happen, but
hey, here's the code for can y'all still hear me when I talk?
yes.
Super. So here's the code for the score. I didn't know exactly where it was, so I used a little search function here and just typed in say. It was part of the directions on part 5, step 22. So I just typed in say because I couldn't find it. It was under looks, which makes sense. And score is under functions, so that's what it looks like. So that worked. When I played the game, it said 0 because I didn't get any of the bones because I'm not very good at it. But the other thing I was going to say is, yeah, you're making all this code, and that's that part's fun, but they'll also just have fun playing the game too. Like, don't downplay that. Like, who can get the most bones? They can share their code with other kids and add different creatures. It doesn't have to be this stuff. You're going to delete this one anyway. So they can kind of go nuts as long as they don't delete your copy. In fact, don't even have them do it. Just, you've got 30 minutes in between. Make sure, just delete it. It won't take you long to delete 8 projects. That was all.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Well, as always, we are open for questions, comments, anything like that. Help you guys out with this. Just email us. We will respond as quickly as possible and get everything figured out. If you haven't gotten the 12 student guides, please let us know. We sent them out, I think, midweek last week. So most of you should have gotten them. I think I only shipped one to a store, and I think it was Redwood City. I think the rest were just going to the house. I was a little worried shipping things to the store in just this big envelope because it is unlike most things that they would get from us, so I was nervous it would get filed away somewhere and not found. Okay, well, if that is all, thank you all for hanging out tonight and prepping for this lab. We will talk to you guys all next Saturday morning. Yeah, anything else, anyone? All right, you are all free to go. All right, see you guys. Thanks so much. Bye.